Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title, we will be talking about a very large storm system that will be potentially developing into the upcoming work week. So this thing is going to be a rather expansive storm. The central, vortice, the center of the system, the actual circulation, area of circulation will be across southern to central Canada, but its cold front and its impacts will extend all the way down into really the southern United States and the Gulf of Mexico. So this thing has a lot of potential impacts to kind of deltas, and I kind of want to go over that as this thing is pretty much looming big and large across our viewing area, which is, again, I talk about mainly the United States and southern Canada. So let's start off by first looking at the GFS, Global Forecasting System. So this is a very good model. I like to use it. Many other people like to use it. It goes out very far and has a decent level of accuracy. Obviously, some of it is inaccurate, but the closer it is the storm and whatnot, then the more accurate it gets. So notice, let me just run this through so you can get a scope of this thing. Again, this upcoming weekend, really nothing much especially with regards to the system that I'm kind of talking about. There will be a few years of moisture and showers, if you will, and these storms that will be developing. Again, nothing too severe, most likely. You can see Iowa right there, maybe some isolated strong to severe storms. But what we are looking for is a strong southerly flow, and that kind of transports a lot of moisture into the, far up into the United States and eventually even southern Canada. So notice we have a very strong high pressure. This is steering the winds. All high pressure spin clockwise. So what this does is the wind flows in that direction. So a lot of this wind is pumping in air from the Gulf of Mexico. Here we also have a series of low pressures and high pressures further off the coast that are also pumping it in a counterclockwise direction. And that is, you can see, creating kind of an alley of pretty strong winds, which is, again, allowing a lot of pretty strong moisture levels to rise up into pretty far into the country. And what this does is we have this area of circulation, which, by the way, is really disorganized at this point when I'm recording this video, but it is in British Columbia, kind of southern Canada, Alberta, Canada, kind of those provinces, almost bordering the U.S. But notice the area of storms that develops in Iowa and Minnesota on Saturday night and Sunday is going to be responsible because of this large system. And notice that still is pretty small. And by the time we get into Sunday afternoon, we really start seeing the true scope of this thing. Look, we have storms, showers. All of this activity here is because of this storm right here. I'll show you a different model run in just a second, and it'll be even easier to visualize the storm's impact. But look, by Monday afternoon, we have a pretty strong area of circulation, 989 millibars of low pressure. That is a pretty strong low pressure, one that is definitely, capable of producing a pretty strong cold front, and also along with it, directing warm and cold air out ahead of it and behind it. And whenever we, usually see very strong systems, we usually see more impacts. And that's going to be kind of the case with this storm. Notice it's way up here across, northern Ontario. Polar bears, for reference, to live right there when I'm kind of holding my cursor on the cusp of where James Bay meets Hudson Bay in Canada. But notice all these showers and this activity, it doesn't all wind down during the night. Notice that during the nighttime hours, there's still activity, though it will peak in the late to afternoon hours. Notice pretty strong cold front, again, stretching pretty far south, combining with a lot of moisture across the southwest. And of course, there will be a little bit of chilly air rushing in behind this as this thing introduces a high pressure behind it. So at least that's partially good news. But I mean, look at that cold front right there. That system, very, very well built at this point. Again, it's a bit hard to see, it's cut off there, but notice this showers and storms across really populated areas in northeast, southeastern Canada, where a majority of Canadians live here. And do note that this thing kind of becomes a upper level low. It shears out, and you can see kind of falls in on itself right there, and then it's out of here. But do note that I want to say that the temperatures behind this will be relatively chilly for at least the Midwest and Northeast. Not so much for the Northwest. You can see very, very warm temperatures in the Southwestern Canada area. But for the Midwest and Great Lakes and Northeast and Southeastern Canada, there will be quite a bit of chilly air, at least for a few days. But before, the pattern kind of shifts gears. I want to show you the European model on this website. It shows us a very good kind of representation of the storm, and it's very easily visible. So notice again, there's kind of our, I guess, area to look for. We see those southerly winds, a lot of showers already kind of starting to sprout with little to no ignition, just pretty much prompted because of how much moisture there is and little disturbances that aren't with this low pressure. But notice this thing starts garnering a lot of strength, and what that does is, well, it causes kind of a lot of these locations to go a bit crazy. Notice several areas of showers, storms across southern Canada into the Midwest and southern central United States. And do note that by then, again, Monday afternoon, we have this pretty strong system already developing. And notice that Monday evening, we really see this cold front starting to flourish with quite a bit of storms, quite a bit of activity. Again, you can see that is affecting even the southern United States with some showers and storms. And again, as I mentioned, it's very easy to see this system here as this cuts us off a bit earlier further south. And here you can see the whole scope of this thing. This thing is pretty much a wind machine. A lot of showers, lots of storms, a lot of sheared out rainfall, kind of light to moderate rain occurring across Ontario and into potentially Manitoba right there. And do note that, again, this thing kind of falls in on itself, right? It starts falling to the south. It becomes more of an upper level low rather than a surface low. And then it kind of moves out of here. But again, there will be a little bit of cool air left in its wake. And behind that, a bit of a calmer pattern. You're going to notice a lot of the northern and really central and even western U.S. is precipitation free. There will be a lot of heat across the northwest, but that is kind of for a little different time. And do note that we are starting now to see moisture potentially in the longer and return to British Columbia and the northwest, again signaling potentially fall and more of a La Nina pattern. Notice again, pretty typical characteristic for these storms to kind of drop precip there. So that could again spur another area of activity and whatnot. And you can see again southerly winds, so that would indicate that we have some heat here. And if I were to take on the 2-meter temperature anomaly, which actually on here I can't on this website, but I could show you the same model on here and show you, look at those temperatures far up north, very, very warm and very, very hot. So that is that in terms of the main models. I want to show you the Canadian though. That one I don't consider my main model. It's definitely a good one, but I think the European and GFS have a better handle on this and these storms. Not this one in particular, just in general. But notice it does a fairly similar job to what the Canadian and GFS show. European and GFS, again, very large system. Lots of wind, strong cold front. And again, if you're wondering when this will be precisely occurring, again, by Monday, this thing will be already delivering showers across the Midwest and central United States. Not everyone, but it's going to be those type of things that, one person sees it in one area 50 miles over, they don't. So kind of similar to that. But again, just stay tuned to your local National Weather Service as they will have the best updates for you regarding that. And I'm just here to show you kind of the large scale things. And do note that by late Tuesday or late Monday into early Tuesday, it's moving across Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, southern Canada, and then eventually into Pennsylvania, New York on Tuesday and into Wednesday, especially late Tuesday across southern Canada. Cities like Montreal, Ottawa, Quebec gonna get impacted on Tuesday and early Wednesday, and then just some scattered showers, maybe some potentially maybe even some lake effect showers if the chillier air runs over the warm waters. But again, that would be obviously rain or not snow. And you can see the Canadian shows very similar things to what the European and GFS show, with cool air left in its wake across these areas. So that is that. I could show you the NAM 12km. This model goes out to 84 hours, but it does start showing the kind of the beginnings of the system, as again, this system is not too far out. So again, we have these areas of moisture moving through the United States because of the moisture that is being pumped up from the south and west. And do note that as we put this forward in time frame, we see kind of an increase of showers activity, and the NAM definitely starts showing that system kind of beginning to take shape and deliver some activity. Though again, the NAM is usually pretty inaccurate this far out, and usually is used for like 48-hour storm kind of predictions, not necessarily up to 84. And yeah, I could show you the icon. This is the German model. I don't really like it that much because, well, it just doesn't have the accuracy of the GFS European or even, quite frankly, the Canadian model. But do note that it shows a relatively, again, strong system with, again, the strong cold front sweeping through a good portion of the United States. That's going to be definitely something to watch for. And again, that system at the end collapses in on itself, and it seems every model shows that, so that kind of stalls out its movement, but it also, that causes the storm to be quite a bit quite a significantly weaker system at that point. So that is basically what I wanted to show you. Again, stay tuned for updates. I'll be updating you guys on the storm. Especially as we get, closer, because we're still relatively, decently far out. I mean, we're not, it's going to occur. We're not at that time frame already. It's definitely going to occur. It's just, whether or not there's going to be severe weather and where it will occur, if it does occur. And for that, we'll have to wait for some of the high-res models to catch up with it. But for now, we don't have that data. It's still a little bit too far out. But that's basically all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next episode. See ya. Bye.